You're now watching Sports Bettor's Paradise on the BetRivers Network.
All right, Jimmy out along with Randy McKay, and the tricky stuff begins here. The last week of the regular season. Some people just kind of bow out completely. Others, no, they think they could find some extra incentive for some teams and lack thereof on others. And sometimes it applies. A team needs to win, and they have a little bit more focus and play with a little bit more energy. Sometimes you're dealing with it creates inflated lines, and you're getting value going the other way. We get to week number 18, game 17, week 18. Randy, let's start with Baltimore-Pittsburgh. All divisional games, obviously, in the last week of the regular season. Baltimore at home after they clinched the number one spot. How much will they rest? This is also the same coaching staff that set records for the most wins in a row in sort of some meaningless games. Baltimore +4 against Pittsburgh. And you also have some interest in the first half at Baltimore plus 1.5.
Yeah, week 17's kind of play out like preseason a little bit. You got to bet it on information. Who's going to play? Who's going to sit? You know, you look at scenarios. Don't worry about the ties that everybody talks about all the time because there hasn't been a tie this year. Very rare you get a tie. Also look to teams' motivation. If the coach is leaving or not, or going to be there next year or not, a.k.a. Belichick or Ron Rivera. You know, there's two probably there that might not be there next year. We'll get to that a little later. But in this game, Baltimore +4, first half +1.5. I suspect that John Harbaugh will play his guys for the first half. You know, there's some speculation that Lamar might not play at all. If so, that's okay. We got Huntley in there, very capable. Probably should have won a playoff game last year. Unfortunately for Baltimore, old Mother Hubbard took the ball to the cupboard, and that was the end of them last year. This year looks real promising for them to get to the Super Bowl. They look like the best team. You know, we kind of predicted that early that they would win the division. We did in the podcast, you know. So, and we've seen how this team plays in preseason with the backups. Very hard, very competitive. We're getting the overinflated line +4 first half, +1.5 first half, +4 for the game. I suggest betting both, each for a half unit. And, you know, they're still playing their rival. They're going to be pumped up. You know, you got Mason Rudolph as a favorite, not a role you want him in. You know, he has won a couple ball games, but he's still a pedestrian, older quarterback. And this Pittsburgh team still relies on defense, special teams, and running game. So that's what I like. Baltimore +4, +1.5 first half.
Yeah, that's $1 million question on Mason Rudolph because these two games against Cincinnati and Seattle, it has been a completely different offense. I mean, explosive plays left and right. Now, Seattle was a weak defensive effort. I will give you that. But, I mean, he is – so far, I mean, and I was expecting maybe a little variance. I mean, a little kind of, regress back to the mean for Rudolph, but same old. I mean, they punted like one time in the win at Seattle. So, I mean, another strong performance. But yes, maybe looking more for the starters to play in the first half. Baltimore +1.5. How would you split up those bets, Randy, yourself? If we gave you a bankroll, 50-50, would you weight it more on the first half bet?
I would weight it just a little bit more on the first half. I do believe, John, we've seen teams completely sit the starters in this role and then lay the egg in the playoff game to start or come out real slow and maybe come back.
Yeah.
I suspect Harbaugh wants to keep his team's juices flowing, still give them, because that's a lot of rest for a team there. So that's why I expect him to make the right move, play these guys, even Lamar, maybe only first quarter, but maybe the whole first half as well. But we got Huntley in the background there. I'm not worried about him. You know, he's very capable.
All right. Don't forget also at BetRivers, get extra value this football season with the BetRivers Squares. You can win up to $10,000 in bonus money at $10 in same game parlays on any game with the Squares icon to earn a square. That's brought to you by our friends over at BetRivers. Speaking of not punting a whole lot, Arizona did not use their punter in a win at Philadelphia. Philadelphia blew a 21-6 lead. They're getting booed at home in the Christmas Day game against the Giants, and then this one against Arizona. Now they travel to New York and play the Giants. Tyrod Taylor has been they're sticking with him. He's an upgrade from DeVito, and so now the Giants catching 5 at home against the Eagles.
Yeah, them nice, friendly Eagle fans, really friendly, that bunch there. Booing Santa Claus as well, way back in the day. But this game here, we just saw this play out a couple weeks ago. The Giants lost 33-25, but they still got the money. This game, I believe, this line has dipped some and there was a rare 7 opener, and that's gone down to 5, mostly off this Eagle information. Still banged up Devontae Smith. Some of the defense, still injured there. This defense has been regressing, all year long, causing Hurts to, extend his play kind of. They usually rely on that running play, methodically getting the ball down the field. We haven't seen that against Arizona. A.J. Brown was absent pretty much in that game. That hurt them a lot when Arizona came back. So we're seeing Eagles struggling down the stretch, and this is going to be a tough spot here because Tyrod Taylor has sparked this offense here for the Giants. They're still playing hard for Dayball, even though they only got 5 wins. Be better for the organization if they lost games. They almost pulled that game off against the Rams. That field goal wasn't by Crosby. Old man Crosby just didn't have enough leg there in the New York wind. Otherwise, they might have won. They might have won that game. Of course, the kid I love is the kid from Bemidji State, got the punt return. That was pretty awesome for him. Gunnar Orseskli. I've rooted for him. I hang out at that area. Very nice up there in Minnesota. So, but that was a crazy game. The Rams did pull off the win, and that's going to help them going forward. But in this game, this Giants team is going to come in motivated to wreck Philadelphia's season. Philadelphia still has to win to clinch or to have a shot at the NFC East, but they need help from Dallas now because of the fiasco there with Brad Allen and company. We can talk about that some other time, but that was a mess as well. But in this game, definitely I like the Giants plus the points. Hang in there. This will be a close game and go either way at the end, kind of like the Rams game.
All right. So, again, that's get played right up against Washington and Dallas as well. So, to try and not to maintain the integrity of the game. So, let's go to New England and the Jets. Boy, this series has been lopsided, to say the least. Yes, well, the Jets, one of the more underperforming franchises in the NFL, and, of course, New England with Belichick and the greatest coach in the history of the game. But he hasn't been great this year, but still, you look at the Patriots minus 2.5 at home against the Jets here.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up that integrity. That was another thing that used to be they didn't stagger these games, and there used to be some nice correlated parlays you could put together on week 16 or the last week and last couple weeks, but of course they don't let you do that anymore. This game here, this could be Belichick's last ride. We know the record against the Jets. He likes to punish them for, the problems they had or he had with them with that trade to New England and all that other baloney. But this game, I'd definitely look at laying the 2.5, maybe even a cheap money line. New England's dominance here. I like what I've been seeing out of Zappy, good and bad, kind of, he's kind of Ryan Fitzpatrick-like. He lets both teams in the game. Nice comeback there to cover versus the Bills. Make it interesting there at the end, having a chance. And the dominant thing of this game will be New England's defense against Trevor Siemian's and this dunk offense and all Breece Hall. You know, Belichick, he'll take away Breece Hall in this game, make Simeon try to throw the ball farther downfield, which I don't know if he's capable of it. You know, I don't think he's capable of this at his age, and with that line protection, very bad offensive line. I can see the Patriots defense dominating this game. The Jets defense on the other side, I think, is tired out. You know, we've seen a decent effort against the Browns on that Thursday night. Of course, they have a little bit more rest, but still, I see this Jets team getting tired out on defense, fed up with their terrible offense, having to keep them in the game all season. So I see New England comfortably covering the 2.5 here. And of course, in case, maybe play a little bit of cheap money line as well. Sending Bill Belichick, we believe, out on a fine farewell out of New England.
All right. So Randy been red hot all season long. Let's close out with a strong one. Again, on our Twitter at RR39, at JimmyOut1045. If we have any late additions, we'll pass those along to you as well. Playoffs up next. When we start next week, we'll have 6 matchups in the NFL for that one. So three more plays and kind of that split play on Baltimore in the first half of this week. For Randy McKay, I'm Jimmy Ott here in the Sports Bettor's Paradise on the BetRivers Network.